Okay. At the end of the last parak, we learned about the death of Izabel. So up until this point, before we start Parak Yud, in his rebellion so far, Yehu has killed Yehoram ben Achav Melech Yisrael, Achaziahu Melech Yehuda, and Izabel Eshet Achav. So slowly but surely, he's making his way through Achav's family, and yet there are more people that are in his family that ultimately need to be killed. So in this lesson today, we're going to cover from Pasuk Aleph in Parak Yud through Pasuk Yud Aleph, from Aleph to Yud Aleph. It's about 11 psukim. Okay, let's get going. Okay, Ula Achav Shivim Banim B'Shomron. Achav had 70 children, 70 descendants in Shomron. Vayichtov Yehu Sfarim Vayishlach Shomron El Sarei Yisrael Haskenim Ve'el Ha'omnim Achav Lemor. Okay, so Achav still had a lot of family that lived in Shomron, which makes sense because, again, Shomron was the capital of Malchut Yisrael, and he still had people. He still had members of his family that were living there. So what does Yehu do? Right, he's continuing on his mission here. He writes letters. He writes a bunch of letters to Kevaishlach Shomron El Sarei Yisrael Haskenim. He sends them to the elders, right, the Zakanim, the wise people. Okay, why were they there? According to the Radak, they were there because they had come together to confer, to meet, and to talk about the rebellion that they knew was underway at this point. Ha'omnim Achav are those who were responsible for raising the children of Achav. Achav died pretty young, and these Omnim were the people that were responsible for raising his son. So he writes a letter, Yehu, to these people. Okay, Lemor, and the letter says as following. V'yata. When this letter reaches you, and your master's sons are with you, meaning Achav's children are with you, and the chariots and the horses and the fortified city and arms are with you. And he continues in Pasuk Gimel. I'll explain this all together in a minute. Without getting into the details of every word here, what Yehu is doing is he's testing their loyalty. He wants to see who they would place as the king. He wants to see if there's any help that they could get from the inside. In order to kill off the rest of Achav's family, there's a lot of them in Shomron, and they clearly probably have people that are very loyal to them. Achav's family has been in power for a pretty significant amount of time. So they're trying to test the loyalties, and they're trying to see if there's anybody from the inside that they could use to help. We're going to skip a little bit to Pasuk Vav. Okay. Vayichtov alehem sefer shenit lemor. He writes them a second letter. Im li atem lekoli atem shomim. If you're going to listen to me, chlu et rashei anshe bnei adonechem uvoai lakayim achar Yisraela ubnei hamelech shivim ish gedolei ha'ir megadlim otam. What Yehu is basically telling them here is he's telling them, I know that there are 70 other descendants of Achav. I know there's 70 other people from his family that are still alive. He's basically telling them, if you're going to listen to me, okay, he says as following, take these 70 people, kill them, chop their heads off, and bring them to me by this time tomorrow in Israel. So a little bit of a gory request, but as we've seen so far from Yehu, he does have this bit of an aggressive personality. Okay, Pasuk Zayin. Vayikavu hasefer aleihem, vayichu et bnei hamelech, vayishchatu shivim ish, and they listened. Okay, the letter came to them. Okay, and at the time that it came to them, they took these 70 descendants, vayishchatu, and they slaughtered them. Vayasimu roshehem badudim, vayishlechu elav Yisraela, and they took these 70 heads. They put them in a dude. Okay, when it says here in Pasuk Zayin badudim, it means like in a pot or in a basket, and they send them to Yisrael. So imagine, right? You're a person living in Israel. You're going to wake up in the morning. There's going to be 70 heads sitting there. But that was ultimately the request here of Yehu. Okay, moving on to Pasuk Chet. Sorry. Okay, so basically, they send these 70 heads. I'm just moving down a little bit here. They send these 70 heads to Yisrael, where seemingly Yehu was. Right? Obviously, Yehu is too scared to go into Shomron. Right? Shomron is where probably the most people that are loyal to Achav are. So obviously, he can't go there yet. he's waiting to see, obviously, who can help him out. So, Pasuk Chad, Vayavo HaMalach Vayeged Lo Lemor Haviu Roshei Bnei HaMelech, right? Somebody comes and tells him, a messenger comes and tells him, they brought the heads of the descendants of Achav. Vayomer, Yehu tells this Malach, this messenger, Simo Otam Shnei Tziburim Petach Hasharat HaBoker, put them in two piles at the entrance to the gate, right? So if you think about a gate, right, it has two sides, and he wants, half the heads, so 75 put on one side and 75 put on the other, okay? I won't discuss the imagery too much more. Pasuk Tev, Vayiba Boker Vayetze Vayamor Kol Ha'am, Vayomer Al Kol Ha'am Tzadikim Atem. He wakes up in the morning early, and he knows everybody's going to see this, and he waits there for the people to come. There's obviously, it's a spectacle. People come and they're checking out what's going on, and he says to them, Tzadikim Atem, right? You are righteous. Okay, we'll explain that in a second. And he says, "Hinei ani kasharti al Adoni v'argeyu umihikad kol ela." I want you all to know that I did rebel against my master, meaning he's talking about Yehoram ben Achav. Yes, and I did kill him, umihikad kol ela, but I did not kill these people. Who killed these people? Okay, and then he adds on to in Pasuk Yud. Okay, we'll explain them both together. Do efo ki lo yipol midvar Hashem artz asher diber Hashem al beit Achav v'Hashem asad asher diber biyad avdo Eliyahu. He reassures the people here that this is all coming from Hashem. Right? He wants them to know that this is a fulfillment of the nevuah that Hashem gave to Eliyahu, and that ultimately this is coming from Hashem. So let's go back to Pasuk Tet for a second. What is he saying to them? Tzadikim atem. So there's a few ways of looking at this. Let's explain one. He's basically saying to them that whoever killed these people is a tzaddik, right, is righteous, right, because ultimately it's a good thing that they die. A Yehu wants to frame this as being a good thing and not a bad thing, and he doesn't want the people to get scared, right? He wants to reassure them that this is ultimately what is supposed to happen, right? That's why he says, tzadikim atem, this, you're righteous. Whoever did this is righteous. This is what is supposed to happen, right? And he reassures them in Pasuk Yud that this really is all coming from Hashem. He obviously doesn't want them to think that he's evil, that he's a murderer, right? He wants to make sure they understand that this is all coming from Hashem. So just the last pasuk in this section. He would call He basically kills off just about every last remaining member of Achav's family. Okay, so Yehu is moving right along. He's continuing on in his mission here, right, which is to destroy the house of Achav, and seemingly he is well on his way to completing that mission.